first of all, East Coast created break dancing. Break dancing is the pose, the floor stuff, the footwork, and the spinning on the heads and all those abstract gymnastic moves. When breakdancing kind of got into the clubs, people were going to clubs. People from New York came to clubs in LA and introduced it, and all around the world, people were like, whoa, they're dancing on the floor. It was a whole nother art form. But California had locking, you know, with the lockers, you know, Soul Train, you know, we had other dances, you know, the Cupid show. Cali always had our swagger. Around that time, we had popping, you know, popping. You could look at some of the older groups that used to dance on Pier 39, Granny and the Robotroids, you know, all in LA. The schools like Hoover, Long Beach, Jordan, Poly, Compton, everywhere, every school had like their pop lockers. You know, California knows how to party. West Coast Pop Lock was an actual song written by Ronnie Hudson that actually told what was going on. If you hit that song, instead of California Love, which was a sample of West Coast Pop Lock, if you listen to Ronnie Hudson's West Coast Pop Lock, it kind of gives you a theoretically correct hip hop timeline of what was going on in California. Because people were known as pop lock. They pop lock, woo! Pop locking on Broadway every day. People don't hit, you know, the thing is, pop locking and boogalooing, that was the thing that we did. Some people kind of did the disco and they did the thing, but we had that on lock. And so by the time breakdancing came, we had like a fusion. I would say 1980. If you look at the documentary Breakin and Entering by Topper Peru, which featured an early Ice-T. So the thing is, our West Coast hip hop documentary, Breakin and Entering, pretty much was ground zero of ushering in our version of hip hop, our interpretation, West Coast interpretation. And New York had Wild Style. Wild Style was the New York East Coast hip hop cultural introduction to their interpretation. So Breakin and Entering and Wild Style in the 80s kind of created offspring. Great DJs, great MCs, Ice-T. Ice-T was a rapper from the West Coast, but he was at the Radiotron in 7th Colorado, you know, right there. Yo, check it out. This is Tracy Moore. I'm Ice-T. I do what I do. Yo, yeah, peep this, people. So the thing is, Ice-T, you know, Kid Frost, you know, this is for the Razathon. Kid Frost from East LA, Tony G, Mellow My Ace. Yeah. I'm like, check this out, baby. Mellow My Ace, you know, is like a brother from another mother in the arts, because after all is said and done, to be able to talk to these pioneers in the arts and us have camaraderie, we speak on the level of, wow, man, look at this thing from the West Coast that we built, and yet we put our egos aside and we work together and support each other. The thing is, in the last few years, of course, age comes with it. I realized it's not really about breaking, or it's not about Turbo and Ozone. What Turbo and Ozone opened the doors for was worldwide, for people to look at East LA. They were filmed in East LA and Whittier, and our culture of hip hop here, okay, as opposed to people, you know, saying that Breakin was a knockoff from Beat Street.
But let's talk about Breakin. Is it a true representation of what was going on in Los Angeles at that time? A lot of it was, and a lot of it wasn't. This is Hollywood we're talking about, guys, right? This is Hollywood. You know what Hollywood does. They dress stuff up a little bit. They put polka dots where they're not needed. No, a lot of that was obviously a little campy, a little corny, and a little Hollywoody. But there was a big breaking scene going on in Los Angeles. I do remember being a kid up until a certain age when it started to fade out about 85, 86. You were not breakdancing. You know what I mean? It was all about skateboarding after that. But I remember seeing people breakdance in Long Beach. I tried to breakdance. Everybody tried to breakdance. I tried to dress like the people in Breakin. I thought the way they dressed in this movie was so cool. But you know what? It wasn't nobody dressing like that in LA. Like, it was just from other people I've heard, it was, they weren't really dressing in the pastels, you know what I'm saying, and things like that they portrayed in the movie. But I thought I thought it was so cool the way they were dressing. I remember being a kid and wanting to bang the white chick, Lucinda Dickey. I used to laugh at her last name as a immature little boy, and I still laugh at it as a damn near 50-year-old man. Lucinda Dickey, I wanted to give her my Dickey, like she back then, and even watching it today, I have some footage in the background as I'm talking to you guys, and yeah, she can get it. She can get it in her little leotards. Is that what they call them, leotards? The tight pants in the 80s with the bright. Yeah, she can get it. She can definitely get it.
The ultimate show with Kelly, Ozone, and Turbo.
White girl, two black guys form a dance group. Why do they form this dance group? Because Turbo and Ozone went to a battle and they got smoked. They lost big time. Why did they lose? Because the other crew, Electro Rock, which I used to think Electro Rock was cooler than Turbo and Ozone. I was always rooting for the bad guy. Like I wanted Iron Sheik to beat Hulk Hogan. You know, that was always me. But I used to like Electro Rock. But they lost because Electro Rock, they brought this chick in there, man, and she was doing all kind of helicopter shit, and she smoked Ozone and Turbo. So what do they decide to do? We'll get a girl of our own. Not only any girl, but this little white girl right here who goes to this dance class down the street. So they get Lucinda Dickey and they call her, so the crew ends up being called TKO, Turbo, Kelly, a more wider name, and Ozone. Turbo, Kelly, Special K, which was her name, and Ozone. So they form this group and they want their revenge, man. They want their revenge at Electro Rock. So, you know, throughout the movie they do battles and things like that, and then there's, you know, some relationship stuff that goes on between Ozone and Lucinda Dickey. I just gotta say her name, I'm sorry. Special K. And a lot of that I fast forwarded as a kid. I was only concerned with the dancing. Like I only wanted to see the dancing, dude. So I was just like, please, can we skip forward, you know, to the dancing? But the battles, man, the battles in this movie, I really enjoyed them. And there's always been this debate. Beat Street or Breakin? Breakin or Beat Street? Which one's better, Beat Street or Breakin? Breakin or Beat Street? I'm from the West Coast, so I'm very biased when it comes to that. But not only that, Breakin takes me back to my childhood, so I gotta side with Breakin. I appreciate Beat Street. I like Beat Street. I'm actually gonna do a whole episode on Beat Street in the near future. I like Beat Street is dope, but that's what the East Coast was going through.